Hello guys, welcome back to another YouTube video here today. And today we are going over my update on Mantra Amon. This is the best Mantra Amon build that there is, and this is uh, using the new class mod. This is really fun. I found this a really fun interaction. So we're using the Mantra with Ripper and Jacobs, which is really important. And then you're gonna want all elements, so you can match elements here. Matching elements with Mantra Amon is super duper important. And then we're using the triple bypass, so you get extra skill cooldown rate. For single bossing, you could pick up yourself a hard hitter and a rage rep kit. So when you're going up a single bosses, you can pop this and get more damage. And then we're using the atomic slippy, so you get more your kill skills proc easily, and your matcher also proc your kill skills when you can do melee damage. And then you can use a 25% charge rate increase damage one, or you can use this one if you have a higher mag size. The higher mag size is actually really important here because you can store more damage with the bigger mag. You are going to look for a bigger mag. And then we're using the triple amp watts for dinner, so we get even more damage stored. And then we're using 5 in titanium knuckles, so Amon gains increased melee damage and skill damage. And then you get 70% more melee damage. And now the cool thing about this, it has a chance, 10% chance of causing pyre, and it can cause groundbreaker, which is really great, and it can do a tons of damage, which is really cool. They're using 2 in real big fists, so you get 25% more melee damage. In action fist, you get more melee damage and act skill damage. 1 in active fire, you get 10% more weapon damage, which is really good for your mantra. And for the specializations, we're using the best defense. You get 30% damage when shields are full. They're using bare arms, so you get melee damage, 50% gun damage. And then we're using now caffeine, so you get 25% action skill cooldown rate when you pop your rep kit. And then we're using groundbreaker, which is really important here. And then we're using discombobulate, so you get 25% more melee critical hit damage. You're using 5 in titanium knuckles, gives you 80% more melee damage and 80% more skilly damage, which is really good. 1 in gut punch, so you get 20% more damage dealt, which is really good. And then you get 3 in will the storm, so you have more, a little bit more status effect duration. And then we're using forge and steel, so you go immune to for a brief for a duration whenever you activate your forge skill, which you can always activate, which is really cool. Then we're using the best defense, so you get over shield melee damage dealt, 2 in here. And then we're using berserk, so you get 30% more crowd damage when you activate your forge skill if you're gun and melee. Kill skill whenever Amon activates kills while in berserk. Activate partially restores berserk duration. Increase bonus crowd damage from berserk, which is really good. Then we're running 2 in rim break. Whenever Amon shield breaks, partially restores the shield and detonates, dealing crowd damage on nearby freezing enemies. 2 in my touch is death. You have a chance to proc your kill skills when you're doing melee damage. And then we're using force of nature. 5 in Astrosophy, so you get critical hit damage and critical hit damage per stack. 2 in Judgment, so you get 20% melee damage. When enemies are 50% below health, mostly get Stormcutter. And 3 in Fist of Stones, so you have 4 skill cooldown duration, which is really good. When you're shooting your Mantra, you're always getting your duration. And then Gathering Storm, you have the kill skill. Amon deals increased elemental damage for duration. You get 50% elemental damage per stack. You could opt into Executioners, so you get 40% more critical damage when you're doing melee damage, which is always. And then we're using Destruction Engines, so you get 4 skill damage up to 42% and detonation damage up to 56%. They're using 5 in Herald's Call, so you get 30% more shock damage. You could also use 5 in Bellows, so you get 35% more gun damage. And then we're using 5 in Raging Inferno. You get more action skill damage, action skill critical chance, which is really good. And you have a chance to apply burn. Now, the priors can also apply burn. So if when the prior is a proc, they can also apply Raging Inferno, which is really cool. Now, I think the priors are a very cool interaction. So you basically proc your force skill. See there, as you can see there, proc Raging Inferno. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.